For SLA applications, it's helpful if you tell us if the venue is ADA accessible, whether you've had any 311 complaints, um, and whether you're going to be intending to use any outdoor space. For any of the sidewalk, cafe, and roadway applications, please be as detailed in your description of the layout as possible. I know some of the applications just have very scant drawings, so if you can be as helpful in elaborating, that would really help us in our determination and speed things up. So we welcome that. Um, Additionally, after I invite the applicant and or representative to speak um, on their application, I will invite members of the public with any questions or comments on that particular application to raise their hands for comment. After the members of the public, I will go to my fellow committee members with any questions, comments, or actions. Just a reminder that all of the any action taken here will go to the full board meeting unless there is an earlier requirement due to submission to the relevant agency. But then it'll go to the full board meeting, which is going to be coming up on October 23rd. And that is taking place. Where is that taking place? Oh, that's on Roosevelt Island this month. Great. Cornell Tech Bloomberg Center on Roosevelt Island. Additionally, a few other reminders. Please direct all questions, comments to myself and or Lindsay when she arrives as the co-chairs. Please avoid any crosstalk. And always please remember to adhere to the rules of decorum. If anyone cannot adhere to the rules of decorum, then they will lose their ability to speak any further. Again, today we have a short-ish agenda, but I know some of the items may go long, so let's try to be efficient with our comments and remarks and speak only to the merits of the application. No extraneous comments or commentary necessary. I also know that there is another event later this evening that I'm sure people want to get to. So if we can be as expeditious as possible, that would be appreciated by all, I am sure. So with that, Kevin or John, to you for the technical rules of the road.
Um, so to start off, if you need anything, welcome. This is your first time joining us virtually. Sorry. Welcome. If this is your first time joining us virtually, you will notice that you are currently muted, and everyone will remain muted throughout the meeting except the committee co-chairs and any presenters as we move through the agenda. Following the presentations, as we move through the agenda, the co-chairs will call on members of the public to speak. You can participate by going to the react icon on your device and pressing the raised hand button, not the wave or thumbs down, as others will disappear. Only press it once. If you press it a second time, your hand will go back down. If you are calling in on a phone, press star +9 to raise your hand, or press star +6 to unmute. Be on the lookout for a prompt asking for the confirm unmuting once the co-chair call on you. The chat is available for technical support only to help with Zoom software problems, not to ask questions of the co-chair. They will not see the chats. If you are using an older version of Zoom, you will need to go to participant section where you will find the raise hand feature there. Please do not raise your actual hand or wave at the screen because we may not be able to see you. Chat me if you need any help.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, John. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to go with item 1A. This is the Business of Hospitality LLC, 1022 Lexington Avenue. This is a new application and temporary for a retail permit liquor, wine and beer, and cider application. Do we have the applicant and or the representative? I think I see Elena trying to unmute.
Trying to find them on here.
Elena Ristovsky.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much.
Of course.
Uh, I believe also Donald should be here, Bernstein, our legal representative. I know I saw him joining in. But in the meanwhile, I just wanted to quickly introduce myself and ourselves. We come from Upper West Side. We operate several restaurants on Upper West Side. One is Marlow Bistro on 110 in Amsterdam Avenue since 2016. The other one is CB8M, 89th and Broadway since 2013. And Mata in Brooklyn since 2019. So we fell in love in this location, the 1022 Lexington. We applied. We got to meet with the landlords. We honestly fell in love in the area and the neighborhood. So we wanted to introduce ourselves to you as well and to showcase what we have done in our area and in our neighborhood, and that we are here to connect and become, through our work, part of your community as well.
Yeah, and sorry, I'm on, Elena. It took, I was unmuted a minute late, so you got started. So hi, everyone. Donald Bernstein. I'm the attorney for Elena. She said she's been in the business now for a number of years. They have absolutely wonderful restaurants. I have to tell you that Cibo e Vino and on the Upper West Side is one of the coziest, most charming, warming restaurants I've been to in the city. I love going there. And we submitted a number of reference letters with our questionnaire. The space is on the corner of Lexington and 73rd. It's been licensed for a number of years. I think the last restaurant there, Casimir, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I think closed in 2017. So we're taking basically the same footprint. There are 3 levels. There's a cellar, which is just kitchen and storage and office, just back of house. The ground floor is small. It has 7 tables with 14 seats and 1 bar. And the second floor has 18 tables and 48 seats and an additional bar, but the bar on the second floor is just a service bar to allow staff to serve the patrons. The only walk-up bar is on the ground floor. The hours are 9 a.m. until midnight during the week and 1 a.m. on weekends, so it's not late night, but if people want to come for a later dinner, we'll be able to accommodate them. The allocation of food and beverage is expected to be about 70%, 30%. So they have really good food, and that's why people go there. There is some outdoor seating, and we've provided a very detailed plan in our questionnaire prepared by an architect with all of the required clearances and measurements showing. There is some sidewalk seating on 73rd Street, but because of limited clearances to tree beds and other obstacles, there are a limited number of chairs there. So you can see all of that outdoor seating on the plan. And of course, the outdoor seating will not be open till midnight. It will close. We'll close earlier, that consistent with your recommendations.
Great.
And we do have some recommendation letters, and one of them is from Linda. I forgot her last name.
Alexander.
Alexander, who also is on your counterpart on Community Board 7. So she knows Elena and her places very well, and and I know this from speaking to Linda and reading her letter, she's one of their biggest fans. It's always great to get recommendations from community board members.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that the thorough run through, and hopefully we wish you success once launching. But as we get started, I will first inquire whether there's any members of the public with questions or comments on this application. I'm seeing a hand wave.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya Rivera Warren, and I am your neighbors on East 73rd. So welcome to the neighborhood. We're so happy to have you. It's so nice to have another restaurant, a nice restaurant there in that corner. We missed it when Casimir closed. However, I am a little concerned about the hours of your closing because we are, as I think I mentioned, 73rd Street is a quiet street with a lot of families, and we are right next to you guys. And 12 p.m. sounds a little late to me on weeknights, and 1 a.m. sounds late to me on weekends, to be honest. Again, as I pointed out before, 73rd Street is not quite Lexington. It's a quieter street, lots of families. We're right next door to you. I have 2 kids. And so that is a concern of mine. Also, I wasn't able to see the renderings of the sidewalk cafe. It's lovely that you have a sidewalk cafe plan. That's wonderful. Just wanted to make sure you're not going into the street itself, right? It's just going to be on the sidewalk, not the actual street, correct? Because I did see in the forms here, it says roadway pergola. So maybe you can elaborate what the roadway pergola is.
Yeah, can I, do you want me to answer that?
Yes.
Yeah, great. So I think you had emailed us.
Yes, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry I
Yeah.
wasn't able to respond today. I was working all day like
No
crazy. I
problem.
just, so.
Yeah, I know Elena was going to try to get to you today to answer your questions. I thought
Yes,
you'd much
I
rather,
appreciate that. Yes, thank
yeah,
you so
I thought you'd
much.
much rather hear from her than hear from her lawyer. So I asked her to call you. So to answer your questions, I don't think midnight, 1 a.m. I understand your concerns. I lived in a residential area in the city for a long time. Keep in mind that these hours are all out hours. So these are the hours by which all patrons have to be out. This is not a last seating, last service. So you can't come in at midnight during the week and get a meal. So what it does is more or less allows 2 seating. So if someone wants to come, at 10 o'clock for a late night meal, they can, and we can be sure if we close at 12, we could be certain they're going to be done and we don't have to rush them. If we have to close at 11 and someone wants to sit at 10, we have to tell them you have to be out in an hour, and hospitality is important and it's not hospitable to do that. So these hours are all out hours. It's not last service, last seating. It's everybody out the door.
Can I just ask you, you do have a bar though, so what time is last service for the bar? Like if
Elena,
people
you can
come
maybe-
in for drinks, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
no, it would be the same thing. It would be
Thanks.
the same thing. And honestly, all of our restaurants, they're in a very highly residential areas. We have never ever had any issues, and I have also 2 kids. I totally understand, and we live next to one of the restaurants, and we have never ever had any issues. Both of the restaurants, I think Marlo has until 4 a.m. We have never been open until 4 a.m. We always close 10 o'clock, 10:30. The only reason it is, as Donald pointed, just to make sure that people are not feeling rushed. This place is not going to be a nightclub or a gathering speakeasy. This is a upscale restaurant where the music is a background music, very quiet. We want people to feel like this is my place to go. They're
Right.
gonna have a after work meal. They're gonna bring their kids. They're gonna go for the amazing food, for the amazing drinks that we have, for our amazing hospitality. Hopefully we'll meet and
Yes.
we'll have a friendship down the line. I'm very sure of it.
Definitely.
The point is, for us, we are here to stay. Every single place we build it with so much love and so much passion that we are there for the long part of it.
That's
We are
wonderful.
not, yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
So,
That's
yeah.
very reassuring to hear. Thank you very
Yeah.
I
much.
just want to address your question about the roadway because I don't want to leave that unanswered. There is a
Yes.
plan for roadway seating, and the hours will be less. I do want to say that both Marlowe and Chibo are like this place on avenues, but on the corner. So they're on a corner of a residential side street and an avenue. One is Amsterdam, one is Broadway.
But wait, I'm sorry, when you say roadway seating, you mean tables in the street?
Yes, which
I
are
didn't-
licensed.
I didn't
licensed
think
to
that
go
was
in.
allowed anymore. I thought that had been outlawed now, the dining
It
center.
is.
So-
There are different regulations, and you can't build structures quite the way they let you do it in the past, but you can have roadway seating. They have to be out by November.
You
They
cannot
to
have, yeah.
dismantle. But what I was saying is that there are other places do have outdoor seating in residential buildings, and they manage that and the people that are eating there very well.
I have to say, I'm not crazy about that part. I got to be honest, because there was outdoor seating, lovely outdoor seating with Casimir and Co. on the sidewalk, and that was just fine. But to go into the street, the other concern are rats, because that is always rodents are a problem in residential areas with restaurants next to them. So the concern is rats. The concern is also that, a lot of people lingering in the streets longer. There's more noise. I mean, do you really have to add that seating onto the roadway? That seems a little.
So the only reason, and if you wish, I do have your email. I can email you the plan from the architect as well, so you can thoroughly view it. The only reason for it is because they did change the rules. So there are so many stricter, they're very strict DOT right now. And unfortunately, it's not like before. Like, even though it's a beautiful site and spacious sidewalk, we're so limited. We only have, as I see, 5 tables allowed on a sidewalk, and it's humongous. That is the only reason why we're gonna do it. And it's a very small roadway, and it's again temporarily. From November to April, you're not allowed to have it. You are also not allowed to have, and I totally agree with you. I hate those like obnoxious pergolas. They're not, first of all, they're an eyesore. Second of all, they attract the rats and whatnot. The way we're gonna do it is gonna be very sophisticated, and it's gonna be more nicely and tastefully done. There are so many strict rules right now with the Department of Transportation. It has to be there has to be specific lights about the borders and whatnot. So I reassure you and assure you, we will not ever abuse it. The only reason is just because we are very limited on the sidewalk, and also we can even, like we always have in our restaurants, we always share our phone number, our personal cell phone numbers with all of, especially the same building and the nearest building residents, the cell phone number. In case of anything that happens, you can call us and we can work together towards resolving any issue. Because as I said, the goal here is to stay and to work together, not just to do something that it's not working out for anybody.
One important point here is, and also Elena and Donald, you guys will be, we're not actually, what we're voting on is not for approving the outdoor space at this time. They will have to apply and they will have to come back specifically again. So there will be another opportunity to have that conversation as well. This is just for the liquor license, which does encompass the space if the space outdoor is granted. So just so you know, this would be the last time that we would be having this discussion on the outdoor space, just FYI.
Yeah, so once we build out and we apply to DOT, they'll notify you, and sure, we know we'll be coming back for that.
Correct. Great.
But it was important for us to address it because Ms. Tanya did, contact us, and it's good. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I think Tanya has a little bit more to say before we go on to Chloe. Tanya, you're muted at the moment.
Just have one more quick point, and I won't take any more of your time. Just because we happen to be the first stoop next to the restaurant, one of the things that we ran into before as a problem was that workers from the restaurant would take cigarette breaks on our stoop, and sometimes also patrons would come at the end of the night and have a cigarette on our stoop. And obviously I have kids. I can't, cigarette smoke is not something I want near my house. So if you could just share that with your employees and make sure they know that they can't do that, would be very helpful. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, I see Chloe as a member of the public.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you for the information and background on the restaurant. So I'm Chloe Davis. My husband and I live just about a block away on 73rd Street, just west of Park Avenue. So very, very close near to the restaurant. We've been walking past the block for months and months now, just very excited to see what was going to pop up. So feeling very excited now, hearing what's going to be there. I think just wanted to chime in and say, I think, this is something that sounds very in line with what we'd like to see in this neighborhood. Upscale, it sounds like quiet, not a bar scene, not a gathering spot. So I really appreciate that. And my husband and I do sort of appreciate the slightly later hours, maybe later than some restaurants in this area. Many things close around 9 or 10 o'clock. And I understand midnight, 1 a.m., that's sort of an actual closing time, which I think is just about perfect. But we're definitely excited to be able to come earlier in the evening, maybe with our daughter, or later on nights when we can get a babysitter. But so just wanted to say this sounds like a great addition to the neighborhood. And also just I know this hearing isn't about the outdoor seating, but it is around the potential drinking and liquor license for that outdoor seating. And I would just say, yeah, I think I speak for many New Yorkers who are sort of fed up with the street outdoor tables and the sheds that are being built. I did want to call your attention. So one of our favorite restaurants in the neighborhood is Caravaggio, off of Madison Avenue, which is a wonderful Italian restaurant. And they recently redid their sort of street seating. And we thought it actually looks much more sophisticated and much nicer than some of the other ones around. And I think there are even nicer ways to do it than that. So I would highly encourage you, if you don't already know that restaurant, to maybe swing by and see what they've done. But that would be my only concern. And I'll probably, hopefully tune back in when the community board is discussing that issue. So thank you.
Thank you, Chloe. Thank you.
Okay, any more members of the public? Seeing none, I'll go to Robin first, Robin Seligson.
You, Abraham. Can you say the name of this restaurant again, please?
The one that we had, yeah. Marlowe Bistro.
Marlowe Bistro.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
just a real quick comment. I am on board with what the prior speaker, Ms. Warren, has been saying. I would feel a lot more sanguine about your application if you closed a little earlier. It's a very, very quiet residential neighborhood on East 73rd Street there. And I would just feel better about your application if you knocked an hour or so off of that, particularly on the Monday to Friday weeknights.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on my list, I have Russell.
Motion to approve.
Okay, thank you. Marco? I see a second by Addison on that motion to approve.
Yeah,
Marco?
I have a couple of questions. How many people totally you will have in that venue?
Oh, with maximum occupancy, sir, it's 75 people.
No, I didn't ask the maximum. I asked what you have.
Oh, yeah,
Actually,
well,
the
74,
certificate
sir.
of occupancy, what it said. I
75,
think the
sir.
attorney can answer that. He's good in that part.
I'm sure you're asking the total
This-
legal occupancy?
Yes, then the CO.
It's 75, sir.
I have
Yeah,
to-
do you have a rear yard until he's looking for that? Do you have a rear yard or not?
Let me look.
The certificate of occupancy by the Department of,
Allows 56 people on the ground floor, 66,
The seller doesn't count.
73 people or something like that. I think it's
Yeah.
70.
The seller doesn't count. Oh, okay. The question is, do you have any service outside in the rear yard? Do you have a rear yard? No?
no,
No
sir.
rear yard. Okay. I think you should consider the hours of closing. That's the only concern, because you will come back for the other part of the application, which is the sidewalk and the roadway cafe. So I'm not going to comment in that direction. Just only I'm going to comment in that part. So you should consider closing a little bit earlier.
Thank you, sir.
It's not much to ask.
Of course.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Marco.
sir.
Next I have Addison.
Yeah, I'd like to call the question, please.
Great. I see a thumbs up there. Anyone opposed to calling the question, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to the roll. Okay, so this is a motion to approve as presented. If anyone is voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, please let me know. Is anyone voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining? Okay, seeing none, that is going to go as an 11-0 approval. Thank you very much. Good luck on the opening, and we will see you again for
Thanks.
the roadway application.
Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Okay, next on our agenda is Shake Shack. So we're resuming the conversation from last month. Do we have our representative? Okay, I see two hands up.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. And there's two of us also who would like to provide some comments. So, okay, so what has been like living next door for the last 3 weeks? Pretty much no change.
Wait. Excuse me 1 second, though. You guys are members of the public commenting on this application? Okay, so please hold. I need the actual applicant first. Do I have Stephen? Are you representing Shake Shack? Okay, great. So let's unmute Stephen first. Where's it, Stefan?
Stephen is my name. Thank you. All right, so just to give an update on everything we've done. We've spoken to our vendors for all the noise when they're coming to do delivery. So they are coming after 7 a.m. Our handicap ramp that was creating all of the noise was fixed today. There was some issues with it, so that was fixed earlier today with the help of our landlord. We are just gonna give it a little extra time. There may be a little bit more welding to be done, but for the most part, they said it's all tightened up and shouldn't create any excess noise anymore. We put up some extra signs in the courtyard, the public courtyard, that says respect our neighbors and please keep noise down. So those 3 signs that we put up. We increased the frequency of our exhaust cleaning to once a month. And then I also had it done additionally the week after our last call to ensure that all the maintenance was being done correctly. So I had our facility manager from Kansas fly up and inspect the full system with the vendor to ensure that they are doing their part, and he gave the green light and gave them the thumbs up. So our exhaust system is in good working condition. It was inspected by our national facility manager that flew up just for this. Yeah, and I think that was the majority of our concerns from the last call. So
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that update. That's helpful. And now I will go to members of the public for their experience. So let's go back to Diane, who was previously unmuted before. Then I'll go to Alan afterwards.
Okay, thank you, Stephen, for your update. I feel like we live in two different worlds, though. This morning at 7:45, I heard wheels rolling up and down the ramp. And I mean, aside from the last 3 weeks, I tracked about 7 instances of being woken up at 4:30 in the morning. In addition, with the 4 men who appeared on the roof, even though you said it was only on a monthly basis, the 3 hours of power washing on top of the early morning bun deliveries leads to chronic stress. So, you know, it's less than ideal. The refrigeration trucks still idle, so they pollute our neighborhood air. Up until now, I was always smelling the grease coming through my kitchen window, so I have to close my windows. And actually, I noticed my windows on the plaza side are a lot dirtier than the ones facing north. And, you know, I didn't see any changes. I could still hear all the noise emanating from the ramp. So, and also I had a question. Marco was very kind to give us background on the plaza that is for public use, and yet Shake Shack has taken over the plaza for the last 12 years for its restaurant business. So I just wondering how that came about. And my other question was, Shake Shack is part of the submission in the papers. I noticed it was dated July, yet they had a new CEO in May. So does that mean that the liquor license is not valid for these last 4 months? How does that work? So, I mean, from my end, for the last 3 weeks, and actually I was only here for like 16, 17 days, I didn't see any change. I still heard the noise coming off the ramps, still smelt the grease. And the 4:30 in the morning were killers. So thank you for listening. And
Thank you for sharing that, Diana. I appreciate that. And just quick point on the CEO, a change in CEO wouldn't trigger a change to the liquor license. It would have to be some kind of corporate change or corporate ownership, legal entity ownership, not the CEO.
oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Do you want to speak? The gentleman?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, hi. My name is Kevin O'Malley. I live at 185 East 85th, 3J. First of all, I'd like to clear up a misconception that was presented after I spoke last month in regards to the truck that makes deliveries very early in the morning. The suggestion was made that we were asking for the refrigeration unit to be turned off. At no time did we ever suggest that at all. What we were looking for, possibly we didn't explain it as well as we should have, but what we would like to do is have it moved from the entrance to the alleyway, because the beeping going into reverse seems to take forever, and the sounds of the loading when they slam it into these trucks and then take it down the thing, and that's how it starts. And that is really what it was. It has nothing to do with turning off the refrigeration, because you can't do that. The other one is, I felt we were misrepresented about, is the activities on the roof. Now, on September 19th, the activity on the roof was the worst it had ever been since the restaurant opened. There was so much noise. Normally I don't even bother to get up anymore, because I just know it's going to be there for the next 3 hours. But it was so much that I got up. There was a gang of guys up there. They had power washers going. They had what looked to me like an industrial vacuum going. And of course, when all these machines are going, these guys are yelling and talking to each other. And it's a very small space. It's not, I mean, they call it a plaza, but it's really a large alley, if you ask me. So that was a thing. And it was mentioned that, you were having trouble with your vendors. Well, it's my understanding that Shake Shack is $1 billion company. Now, if I was a vendor, I would do just about anything I had to do to fulfill the needs of Shake Shack. So I don't understand why it's so difficult to get these vendors to not come in at 4:30 in the morning. That is just ridiculous to me. And last and not least, I walked through the alley today. I was curious to look again to see what was going on with the signage. And it's true, there is a large sign saying that this is a public area. Unfortunately, the large sign is behind an artificial tree. So you really only see, you don't see the whole sign. And it's way in the back. Next to this sign is a very small sign, as small as the little tiny sign that you see at the entrance to the alleyway. It's all the way in the back, by the back stairs. There's only one table there, only one seat actually faces that sign, and you can't see that sign from basically from any place else. So it's, in effect, as far as I'm concerned, it needs to be upgraded. There needs to be something more done about that. I stood in the middle of the alley. I couldn't read it. It says notice in large letters, and then the request to be quiet for the neighbors is tiny little print. So I didn't find it very satisfying as a means of keeping things quiet. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you
Can
very,
I just add one more comment?
briefly, yes.
Yeah, it's brief. Since the outdoor ramp is part of the POPs, wasn't it intended to be used just for people with disabilities, and not for Shake Shack's personal business use? I mean, shouldn't Shake Shack be accepting deliveries through its front door? If it needs a ramp inside that restaurant, well, then have them construct the ramp there on the inside. But we shouldn't have to suffer through all this sleep deprivation to satisfy their delivery needs.
Thank you, Diane.
Thanks.
Okay, so before I go to the next member of the public, Stephen, is there anything you want to respond to that, or do you want to wait till we get all of the comments first? Wait till all the comments? Okay, so let's go to Alan Shine next.
Thank you, for unmuting me. Thank you so much. I was going to say the same thing. We received an email from a fellow by the name of Gregory, and that what was just spoken about is correct. That's a private ramp, a public ramp for people who have disabilities. It was never meant, it shouldn't be used, I should say. It was probably meant for them they figured they can do that, the Shake Shack, and just bring all the deliveries down. But it's against the rules. It's against the law, from what I understand. The other couple of things, I believe when people who work at the Shake Shack leave the Shake Shack, they should go on to 86th Street, not through the alleyway going to 85th Street. They make noise. They stand there and talk to each other for a while. I don't hear it now only because there's scaffolding up, but they hang out, they smoke cigarettes, and then they even hang out on 85th Street right by that entrance. It's not there. That's not a thoroughfare. That should not be used for people leaving the Shake Shack. They can leave through the front door. The other thing is the garbage is still being picked up in the middle of the morning, like 3 and 2 and 1. It makes a racket. I mean, a real racket. And there's something has to be done about it. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you very much. Okay, next I have individual named as G. If you can state your name when we unmute you, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Yes, my name is Gregory. I was just referred to by Alan. Before I share my observations, if I could ask a question of the Shake Shack representative.
Sure.
Excellent. He mentioned that today there was welding performed on the ramp and 3 respect your neighbor signs posted. If I could ask what time those activities occurred today?
Give one moment. And I think we need to unmute Stephen.
So there was no welding. The technician that did it said there might be possibly welding needed if the fasteners that he installed will not hold up, but he's pretty sure that it will hold up. And that was, he sent me the note at 3:10 today.
You're telling me that telling us that he installed new fasteners today?
Yep, he secured all the diamond plated flooring, is what he told me.
Well, I walk the ramp nearly every day, including yesterday and today at 3:30 p.m. I neither noticed respect your neighbor signs or any changes to the ramp from my previous inspection of the ramp yesterday. So I hope you're being truthful with the committee, because I found your colleague was highly disingenuous at the last meeting. And I feel that a lot of the issues that you and your colleagues raised have been disingenuous, including this issue of the ramp. Yes, it is a metal ramp, but there's nothing about the fixtures on the ramp that creates the noise that our neighbors are complaining about. It's the fact you have metal wheels on a metal surface. So regardless of how solid the ramp is, it's going to create noise. Your colleague also mentioned that padding would be used on the ramp. I don't find that it's highly doubtful that a vendor is going to take the time to lay padding on what's really a 60-foot, at least 60 feet of ramp, because it snakes back 2 times. And I've never seen a vendor take that kind of care with such a large pad. And he made it sound like it was a much shorter pad that would be used. So I haven't found, and I'm not sure what the committee thinks about how honest Shake Shack has been with the committee. My understanding is last time there was an issue before the committee, Shake Shack didn't even want to attend. And they had to understand it's a requirement to do so. So I think that they really shouldn't be given any benefit of the doubt at any point in this process. And again, I didn't see any signs that were posted, newly posted today. You mentioned there were 3 signs. I think leaving aside these issues, I think the fundamental issue here is we have a business that was conceived to operate, as I'm sure many people know, in a 6-acre park, that being Madison Square Park. And at a part of the park that's bordered by 2 avenues on one side, another avenue on the second, and a 4-lane road on the third, and then an entire park on its other boundary. And they're using the same business model here in what is essentially an enlarged courtyard that's boxed in by a 300 vertical foot wall on one side, at least a 200 vertical foot wall on the other, surrounded on 3 sides by residences. And they're, as I say, implementing the same business model here in the service of food and drink that they use in the park. And it's just not appropriate. 3 examples. They use metal trays to deliver the food. Now, the problem with that is these trays get returned and stacked. Every time a tray is stacked, it's a clang, clang, clang. And given this box canyon, sound, air, smells reverberate and rise. They also call out the names of diners when they're looking to serve the food and drink at a loud voice. They could be using a number system on the tables to avoid those kind of shout outs. Secondly, when they're operating in a park, I'm sure their lease and agreement with the park allows them to serve food and drink. As been noted, this is a privately owned public space, and it's not clear a waiver isn't required to serve food and drink. And when I say serve, when I'm not talking about patrons buying their food and the patrons bringing the food to the tables in the courtyard. The food and the drink is being served by the store employees into the courtyard. And it's not clear a waiver isn't required, and if it is required, that one has been received. Same in regard to the tables and chairs, the metal tables and chairs, whether a waiver was required for Department of Building, which governs publicly owned private spaces. The ramp has been noted. Presumably it's there for ADA purposes and it's being used for delivery, where deliveries could be performed through the front door of the restaurant where they wouldn't disturb the neighborhood to the same degree. Thirdly, deliveries could be made in any hour reasonably in Madison Square Park, mostly a commercial business district, no immediate neighbors. Here, they're being done overnight. There was a claim the vendors couldn't deliver at other hours. We have an issue with a competitor, Shake Shack, it's a half block away, McDonald's. And we communicated with their delivery service, Martin Browser, large food distribution company, and they gladly accommodated a change in their delivery hours from 7:30 in the morning to much later in the day. Now, Shake Shack employee mentioned, hey, no, there should be a noise expectation after 7 a.m. Well, these stores close, the Shake Shack closes at 11 p.m. Presumably its employees don't close up the store, commute home, have dinner, and get to sleep themselves until after midnight. Were they to be neighbors, and maybe they are, I'm sure Shake Shack wouldn't want their employees to be disturbed so early in the morning. So overall, I think they need to modify their business practices regarding food and drink. And this is very specifically a matter relating to their liquor license, where they're operating appropriate to the setting and modify their their culture and conduct to this setting. And I do believe they should be more honest and forthright with the committee in regard to these issues. Thank you.
very much, Gregory. Okay, I'm going to go to Glenda. She hasn't spoken yet. And then Alan, I'll come back to you, but briefly, please, since you've already spoken. Glenda?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I am a resident also on 185 85th Street. I am a mother of 2 kids. I live on the 3rd floor. And just out of casualty, just chatting with my neighbors one day that I just run into them into the hallway, like, oh, are you okay? You look very tired. Well, I'm so tired because it's been day after day, night after night, that my kids keep waking up because of the trucks. This resonate in their brain and say like, oh, we actually, yes, the Shake Shack trucks, they're doing the deliveries, and like, yes, it's the worst. It's always in the middle of the night. It's like very late, the backing up, the beeping, and the trash trucks that they come pick up the trash is extremely late. It just keeps waking up my children. This is not about just adults complaining about, oh, my kids, I don't sleep, or they're too loud for me, there's an inconvenience, the noise. I'm talking about children that they have been sleep deprived, which is crucial for them to grow, to develop in their brain. So something has to be done. We cannot have trucks doing deliveries so late in the middle of the night, the trash picking up the trash has to be done something. This is not just about some people, some neighbors that are upset about is it the noise, loud. This is very serious. It's affecting the entire neighborhood. It's affecting our fellow neighbors that just spoke, that have been fighting this for years. It affects me and affects my children. Every single night when the truck comes, my kids wake up. I have to wake up to put them back to sleep. They're 6 and 3 years old. How is this not going to affect them? That's all my comments. That's everything I have to say. Just wanted to you guys know that it's not just adults in the building complaining. It's actually kids that are being affected by this.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Glenda. Okay, we're not going to do double dips here, so it's going to be very quickly. You have 30 seconds, Alan, and then Gregory, you'll have 30 seconds. Keep them honest.
Okay, I just need 30 seconds. Thank you so much. I forgot to bring up the odor, the smell of the burgers. I put my head out the window out the terrace door the other day on Sunday. The odor is just as bad as it's ever been. I appreciate that the fellow who's representing the Shake Shack said that they're clean. Maybe they have to clean it every week, not every month, because it certainly isn't helping for them to clean it every month. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Gregory, 30 seconds.
Yeah, just quickly, Alan, the committee co-chair, mentioned that the corporate change that's necessitating the application renewal would have to be a change of ownership. I don't believe that's the case. The 2 of the executives that are on the application, the former COO and CEO, have both left the company. I think that's what's necessitating the change. Incidentally, the the notice application they submitted, which is linked to the meeting webpage, is lacking the names of the principals that are meant to be changed. So their application is probably inadequate due to that failure of the attachment. Just reflecting on something Alan mentioned, if there's going to be more cleaning, hopefully any cleaning that's done will be done during the day, business hours, and not overnight, which is currently the case. Thank you.
Thank you, Gregory. Okay, before I go to my committee members, because I know we've had several sessions of this, and and I'll let my committee members decide how they want to proceed. Is there anything there, Stephen, that you want to respond to?
I mean, I can respond to as much as I can. We'll definitely get a larger sign, like Kevin pointed out. We can ask to move the other public sign that's behind the tree. A lot of these were put up by our landlord. That's the superintendent of the building that you live in, and some of the concerns that you guys had about us not being honest. the person that did the work on the ramp is actually the superintendent of the building that we leased the space from. And he was the one that told me. So this is not like one of our external vendors that came in and did this. This is the actual superintendent for the building that came and did the work for us. And we'll definitely get back with our vendors about the noise for the using their bun deliveries super early in the morning. They were supposed to be using blankets, what they committed on to ease some of that noise. The garbage vendors coming late at night. I know the last time it was actually the garbage vendor that is picking up the building garbage, not our garbage, but we'll still get with our vendor for that. I mean, I have all my notes here. I'm gonna do everything I can to try to get as much of this, if not all, resolved for everyone. I don't want people to lose sleep. I don't want kids to lose sleep. That's not what we want. We want to be a good neighbor. We want to do as best as we can. I took all of the feedback that we got last time, and I try to bring everything into light and try to get a resolution for it all. So I will continue to do that as well.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Committee members, questions, comments, actions? Russell.
So I want to just see if we can have stipulations on the points that Stephen has raised. So, on the blanket for the deliveries to avoid the noise, if that's something that you're willing to stipulate to doing as part of the application. I think similarly with the hours of the deliveries, I think we would want that to be included in any sort of resolution. And I'm trying to remember what other issues we would want to include, but I think it's sort of a combination of, I mean, it does sound like work has been done. It sounds like there are good commitments being made, but obviously there's a long way to go in terms of what residents and neighbors are dealing with. And so seems to me that the way forward would be a resolution that includes these kinds of stipulations to ensure that it's not something that just once Shake Shack gets past the meeting that this is all over and they go back to what they've done before, but that we actually have stipulations to hold them to what they're saying they're doing. So those are the two that stand out to me as the issues we would want to incorporate. But if other folks have other things that they think we should also include, then let's do that also. And just want to get confirmation from Stephen that he agrees to those stipulations.
Hi. For any stipulation, I'd have to get our legal team involved to give the green light on that. So I won't be able to commit on that at the moment. Our legal team would have to weigh in on this as well. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you for that. Marco, and then Robin.
I think I'm going to repeat, Stephen, what you said. You need more time to resolve this issue. Oh, well, I'm going to keep saying this is fine. I hope that you figured out something new. I hope that you are willing to do that. And I think we have to give you one more chance. This is the third month that you still saying that you fixed. The community comes and say that's not true. It's still the same. So my point is very simple, sir. Please do not blame the vendors. You are the person responsible for that, not the vendors. If the vendor doesn't listen to you, fire them. Hire another one that they can do better. So you have a choice in that part. So please do not blame the vendors. Now, we respect that you have a manager that review all the facilities around the country. Well, probably he didn't read the building code, especially the mechanical code that regulate the number of particles that can be released on the environment. So I strongly recommend that he has to read the mechanical code, not the building code, the mechanical code. And finally, sir, let me be very clear. I think I'm going to address now directly to the people that has been affected. Listen carefully. This development was created, this so tall building, 350, that's I hear right now. The maximum height should be 210. So guess what? The developer, they took 100 feet taller building with a lot of floor area, with a lot of money, and the top of the building, which that's basically the real estate is. That's where they make money. With the conditions that provide a decent, honest, and invitable plaza. This is a plaza what you're using. It's not an inner court. This is a plaza. And the plaza was in some way misguided or misdirected, and they sunk with the purpose that the people don't go inside. Then you show up and they say, I want to use this place. This place is called Plaza, and that has been, the developer has been receiving a lot of money for that space. No for profit. The profit is over. He already had the profits on the top of the building. So basically, you shouldn't even be used that plaza. That plaza is for the public. No, this is not even an amenity for the buildings or for the building owners or the residents of those buildings. It is for the community. That is the meaning and that's the agreement of this plaza. Somebody said is an alley. Yes, it is. That's true. Because actually that is in the way the developer did in order to push out the people to use this public space, even though they have the deal on their and their benefit. So I think now you know exactly what I'm standing, and I think it's wrong what are you doing. It's better that you organize yourself, work it out very well. You don't want to commit anything, and I appreciate that you want to have your legal advice, and I think you deserve that part. I'm trying to be very fair with you, sir. The only situation is, please, you gotta move forward. You gotta fix all these problems. The signage, look, the resident, they ask for something bigger. No, there is a regulation for that. Follow the regulations of the Department of City Planning. City Planning enforcing that part. No building, no the Department of Buildings, regrettably. So there is some specific regulations. And for the ramp, basically, if you properly, you are a good neighbor, you can do better, and then you can keep using that place. Otherwise, I will strongly recommend that I will go in that direction, that you shouldn't use that plaza, because the plaza is not for the private business. It's not for Shake Shack or any other business. The plaza is for the community. Let me be very clear. So if you don't know that, well, learn that, and please, now you know where I'm coming from. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Marco. Robin, and then Judy.
Abraham, thank you. This is really quick. I just want to say to Russell's idea of stipulations, we must add that the venting has to be cleaned more than once a month. That is woefully inadequate. It should be cleaned much more frequently to cut down on the odor that everybody smells on 86th Street and in these surrounding apartments. So I would like to stipulate much more frequent cleaning of your equipment. Thank you.
Thanks, Robin. Judy?
To Stephen, when you talk to your lawyers, can you do that this week and get Abraham an answer before you have 2 weeks, I think it is, before our full board meeting when we vote on this, and so that we'll know what the lawyers say?
Yes, I will speak to them tomorrow and have them reach out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Russell, then Marco again.
So I didn't make a motion last time, but I would now do it. I'll make a motion to approve with the stipulations that I mentioned, and I'm happy to add the one that Robin added, although it wasn't clear to me that more frequent cleaning was what the neighbors wanted, because my understanding was that the cleaning was the source of some of the noise and people on the roof and so on. So I think whatever it is that folks want in terms of the cleaning, if that is the request to have more frequent cleaning, then yes, let's incorporate that. But it just that wasn't I think I may have misunderstood what the issue there was, and maybe the people on the roof with some other separate something else going on. But I just want us to get clear on that. But I'm happy to, whatever we land on, to incorporate that as a stipulation also. And I guess the question just for Stephen, understanding that you're not somebody who can make that decision, and you're going to have to check with the lawyers. I mean, I assume that the stipulations that we're talking about are things that, seem doable and that you think are going to be doable, understanding that you're not somebody who can make that commitment. But, I don't want us to go through the exercise of going through this thing with stipulations if you can tell us now that it's not something that Shake Shack's going to go for.
Unmute, Stephen.
Let me connect with them. The exhaust cleaning was being done, I think, on a bi-monthly basis, and we just increased to once a month. So we're doing it more frequently. And if that's not helping, I'd have to connect with facilities, I'd connect with legal. The hours of delivery, I think that's an easy one. The blanket, it all seems very doable for sure, but I definitely need to connect with them and I got to bring all parties involved because it's other departments.
Okay. Thank you, Stephen, for clarifying. Russell, so you have a motion to approve. What would be your stipulations? And then I'll ask if anyone's seconding, by the way. I mean, I'm seconding, but
yeah. So the stipulations are, I think, what did we say? No deliveries before, was it 8? Is that the time? What was the previous?
Let's keep Stephen unmuted, please.
Yeah, I think just deliveries need to happen after 7 a.m.
7. Okay, so no deliveries before 7. For any deliveries that are using the ramp, there have to be blankets put down on the ramp.
Okay.
And then the third one was the one about timing of cleaning from Robin.
One of the other topics was the signage. It looks whether or not there could be more visible signage, because one of the observations were that they were kind of hidden or tucked away. So I don't know if that's something you'd want to incorporate or request as well.
Yeah, I think we should. I guess yeah, I don't know. It seems to me also that, like, if Shake Shack were just to put some signs out, I can't imagine that the landlord would have an issue with that. I mean, I would say don't wait on the landlord, just get the signs out. I mean, particularly signs about the fact that it's open to the public. I feel like you guys just, get it out there.
Yeah, the only thing we needed them for, because some of it was going on their building, so we just needed their approval for that, which is
okay.
Easy to do. So the signage is easy. I'm ordering 3 new signs right now, and they're going to be larger size for sure.
Good. Okay. So yeah, so let's include the signs.
Okay. Russell, I see 2 members of the public with their hands up. Would you want to take their input as to some of the potential additional stipulations?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's go. Alan and Gregory also.
And I think someone has to second my resolution too.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Alan first, and then Gregory. And again, let's go for 30 seconds, please.
Okay, quickly. I think the people the employees walking through these alleyways and hanging out should be in the stipulation that the Shake Shack tells their people you cannot go to 85th Street. You got to leave at 86th Street. And the garbage trucks coming in at 3, 4, 5 in the morning. The 185's garbage trucks usually come around 7. I know with Action is the name of the company. They're here 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I think that has to be in the stipulations. Thank you for listening to me.
Can you repeat that for me? So the garbage has to come at what time?
Well, the garbage, they come to pick it up anywhere between 12 and 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
Okay. So also after 7.
So
Well, after 7 is usually, I see the trucks when I leave my house like 7:30, and I'm driving out of the driveway. I see that the New York City garbage department is picking it up around that time. They're not coming at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
So
Okay.
our garbage vendor is the same as the building. It's Action. So when Action comes, they're picking up our garbage as well. Just so
But,
you know.
and the loitering in the alleyway here by the employees has to be in the stipulations, I believe. Thank you.
Okay. 30 seconds for Gregory.
I'm boggled. I'm boggled. You invite the public to speak. You're a member of the public whose testimony contradicts, and it's essentially asserting that the representative for the applicant is not being truthful, and yet you're offering a stipulation. These stipulations are a bit of red herrings. A, they're self-enforcing. B, the liquor authority doesn't have any attachments to their licenses that respect your stipulations. So I'm not even sure what force and effect they have. But they're primarily, as I would presume, honor system based. And you have an applicant here that has not shown the ability to be honorable. He mentioned that 3 signs were posted today. He mentioned that fasteners were added to a ramp, and you have a witness that's indicating otherwise. So I don't know why you would extend a stipulation to this company at this time. Any stipulation.
Thank you, Gregory. Okay, Marco.
Okay, first of all, Parliament procedure, Mr. Chair. A motion has to be presented. The motion has to be let know what is the intention, and then second. You cannot speak after that. You cannot speak and then second. So this is a violation of Parliament procedure. It has to be, and Russell knows very well. He used to be the chair of the community board. So therefore, he knows very well the Parliament procedure. That is wrong. 2, we cannot put something. The person that represents Shake Shack clearly said that he needs an authorization from the attorneys, and he's right. We cannot push in that direction. Now we can approve something that they are unwilling to collaborate for 3 months and to do some remediation. And I didn't want to put a motion to disapprove because apparently the community, the members probably going in that direction, and I'm sorry, in the direction to approve, which basically is wrong. I think we had to listen to the community. In this case, the building has to be in compliance with the plaza regulations. So therefore, Shake Shack shouldn't be there in the plaza, period. If he doesn't comply, if he doesn't want to be a good neighbor. And finally, you cannot say, you need to increase the cleaning. No, it has to be compliant with the mechanical code. The mechanical code establishes the number of particles that can release to the environment. If it's in a week and the particles is still bigger and bigger, you cannot do, I'm doing my best every week. No, it has to comply with the code. This isn't the way that has to handle. No, in the way that said, oh, let's go see what happened if we increase more cleaning. No, probably is underdimensioned the filters. Probably is any other thing. And that's we need a good diagnosis for the mechanical engineer to establish the number of particles that has to be released in the environment. And that is the complaint of the community. With respect to signage, well, probably now we have to remember the signage is strictly for plazas established, and it has to follow the regulations. Sorry for the members of the community, but we have to follow the law. And the law, whatever it says for plaza, that has to be done. But no hiding, not in another place, and it has to establish very clear the procedure. So this is my point, and I think to vote for this resolution, I think is completely out of order. But I will oppose. Thank you.
Thank you,
I just
Marco.
want to respond on the procedural point. I
Agreed.
didn't speak to my motion, really. What I did was I made a motion, and the specifics of what was in the motion is what was being discussed. So before the motion could be seconded, that discussion had to take place because that affected what the motion was. So I did not violate parliamentary procedure in that respect.
Okay. All right, I see Judy put her hand down. So Marco, we're not, if your comment is to go back and forth on whether he violated the procedure or not, I think we're past that. So Judy, you had your hand up, and then I'll go to Marco.
Call the question.
Okay, thank you. All right. Is anyone opposed to calling a question? Marco, do you want to get your 2 cents in before?
Again, the parliament procedure said the motion has to state what is the intention, either yes or no, or disapproval. Then somebody has to support the motion, and then the person that put the motion has the opportunity to express and to develop of the idea of the motion. And this case was completely all around. Thank
Marco,
you.
Russell said he put a motion to approve with stipulations. That is a
And
declarative
nobody
statement.
second. And nobody second. At the end of the conversation, so you second, and this is fine. But it's at the end. It has to be at the beginning. That's then he has to state, I want to put a motion to approve and then to speak. So the motion has to be right there, second, and then he can speak whatever he wants.
Well, we can.
Thank you so much. But I will oppose the resolution. Thank you.
Great. You can go back and look at the recording and see that I seconded him. So, okay. So the question has been called. So just to be clear, because Stephen, you have to get your legal. So this is a motion to approve, but it's only a conditional, because if you come back to us at the full board and tell us that your legal has not agreed to or cannot agree to these, then we cannot move forward with that motion. So it's with that in mind. And then at that time, we'll be free to take another position at the full board, which may include a motion to disapprove. So just so that everyone's clear on that, this is a conditional, just given the logistics of how Shake Shack, the corporation, and Stephen's process to get the approval. So this is a conditional motion to approve with the stipulations that Russell set forward about laying down the blanket anytime there's any deliveries using the ramp, that no deliveries should occur before 7 a.m., that the exhaust should be, I'm going to modify this, and Russell, if you object, let me know. The exhaust should be cleaned as frequently as required to comply with the legal requirements for particles being expressed into the air. Signage that they have more clarity and are visible, especially the open to the public signs. And then the stipulation about seeking to prevent or avoid loiterers in the alleyway. Russell.
Yeah, just on the cleaning point, I would say, or at least monthly. I mean, it may be that to technically comply with the particulate requirements, you wouldn't need to do it monthly. And I think we need it to be at least monthly.
Agreed. That's a good catch. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's the motion. Question's been called, so I'm going to go to the roll here. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining on this conditional motion to approve, please give me a sign. Okay, Marco. He's shaking his head, so I'm saying he's no, but I'll unmute him so that we're being.
He just unmuted me. The only thing is, I'm sorry, I'm out of order. You should invite the member, the community for the full board, but my vote is not. Thank you.
Okay. Any others? Robin?
Russell, he said they're cleaning it now once a month.
He said, so clarify, he said they just changed it to once a month. It was bi-monthly.
Okay.
I mean, it was every 2 months. It was every 2 months, and he said that they just changed it to monthly, which is why I'm assuming Russell then said at minimum we need to keep that cadence.
Okay, but that's inadequate. That's my comment. Thank you.
Okay. Sasha? Abstain. Okay. Okay. So that's 8 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention. Okay. So that's how we'll proceed for now. Thank you, Stephen, for being here. Definitely get back to us as soon as you can with the response from legal on those. We'll try to form, I'm sure you jotted this down, but we'll see if I can jot these down for you as well. And then that way you can give us an answer. If you get an answer in advance of the full board, do let us know as well. Otherwise, we'll see you there on that date. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, moving the agenda along, moving on to this 2B. Do I have a representative for Akimori, 727 Madison Avenue? This is a class change and temporary retail permit application for liquor, wine, beer, and cider. Yes, I'm seeing Teddy.
Hello.
Hey, tell us a little about your application, Teddy.
So good seeing you guys again. We were here a couple of months ago. We applied for wine and beer license. We're actually fairly new in the neighborhood. We opened on January 1st, and I think the community's been loving it. We're a small little omakase restaurant with 12 seats at the bar and another 4 seats, another 2 tables, 2 seats each. So we're just asking for a class change.
Okay, so you're asking for the upgrade to the full liquor, right?
Correct.
Okay, great. And nothing else has changed, just the same?
Yeah, everything's the same.
Great, thank you. Any members of the public on this application? Okay, seeing none, I'll go to Marco.
I would like to put a motion and then to speak. The motion is to approve as presented. Is anybody can second?
I see Bill seconding. Great.
Okay, I think this venue has been operated for months. I think it's a small venue, and I think we should support this kind of the business. And I think good luck. I wish the best. Keep improving and keep profiting. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Okay. Does anyone want to call a question? Bill?
Call the question.
Wonderful. Okay. If anyone opposes, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to the roll. This is a motion to approve as presented for Akimori. If you're voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, let me know. Okay. Seeing none, that is a 10-0 approval. So thank you very much and continued good luck.
Thank you.
All right, moving further along. Do I have item 3A? This is City Hops. This is a 30-day waiver of a renewal application for a wine, beer, and cider license. I see Cynthia.
Hi. Thank
Hello.
you. Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the renewal and the need for the waiver.
Well, City Hops, it's a craft beer and wine bar, and my liquor attorney, he had a clerical error and assumed that the deadline was a month from now. Hence, we asked for a one-time waiver. Nothing is changing in our operation. We continue to serve.
Okay, so just a straight renewal and
Yes,
okay,
sir.
great. All right. Well, thank you very much for that, and thank you for appearing. Is there anyone from the public on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll go to Marco and then Judy.
Motion to approve as presented.
You have a second from Russell and Bill. Okay, great. Judy?
Can you tell me how many total seats you have inside your establishment?
About 12.
Okay, and what are the hours?
12 to 12.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Welcome a call of the question. Judy?
Call the question.
All right, thank you. If anyone opposed is calling a question, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to the roll. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, let me know. Voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining on this item. Okay, seeing none, that's a 10-0 approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, going to item 3B. This is Pineapple Hospitality Consulting, 964 Lexington, 30-day waiver as well. This is for a liquor, wine, beer, and cider license. Anyone? See, the application shows Representative Robert Swetnick and/or Harold Moore. I see Harold Moore here, but maybe he stepped away. Okay, then I will come back. Oh, maybe. Oh, there we go. I see Harold Moore waving. Let's unmute Harold.
Hello?
Hi there. Yes, hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Join us. Tell us about your application and your waiver requirement.
I'm not 100% certain of the technical stuff, but we didn't apply for a temporary because we thought we had enough time, but the bureaucracy rolls slowly in Albany, so the lawyer thought it was, Swetnick thought it was wise to go after temporary because we're getting close to opening.
Okay.
Nothing has changed. Still 40, 50, 2, 3, 4 seats, depending on how it all shakes out, and operating hours are 12 to 10.
Great, thank you. Do I have any members of the public on this application? Seeing none, I'll go to my committee member, Marco.
Motion to approve as presented. Thank you. Somebody second.
You have a second from Russell. Great, Robin.
Sorry, I was seconding Abraham.
Okay, do you want to call the question instead?
I'd like to call the question. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, if anyone opposes, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to the roll. This is a motion to approve as presented. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, let me know. Otherwise, this will go down as a yes vote. Okay, great. Although Kevin and John, keep me honest, I think we just lost someone. Nope, never mind. We're still holding at 10. So we're holding at 10. We just lost Addison earlier. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Great. Okay, good. All right, up to category number 4. Yes. Do I have the representative for La Pecora Blanca, 1652 2nd Avenue? We're now into the section of the Department of Transportation Sidewalk and Roadway Cafes. This is a new outdoor dining application for a roadway and unenclosed sidewalk cafe. 10 tables, 20 chairs, and then 22 tables and 44 chairs. Do I have the representative for Pecora? Yes, I see Dave.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for making the time. My name is Dave Ferraro. I'm the Director of Operations and Partner in La Pecora Bianca Restaurants here in New York City. Currently operates 7 restaurants in Manhattan. We've been on the corner of 81st and 2nd Avenues for 2 years now, 2 years in a couple of weeks. We've been operating our current outdoor cafe setup in the old rules from COVID. We have submitted our application for the new the sidewalk cafe and roadway dining under the new rules. We are currently operating with about 44 seats on 2nd Avenue and 22 seats on 81st. The architect drawings that have been submitted with our application reduces that number to about 34 seats on 2nd Avenue and 10 seats on 81st alongside the side of the building. We have additionally submitted a application for roadway dining under the new regulations for roadway to kind of capture back about 20 of the seats that we'll be losing from the current sidewalk cafe.
Okay, understood. So if I'm looking at these plans right, we have 10 tables in the roadway, the new roadway addition, correct?
10 tables in the roadway, correct, for 20 seats.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much. Do I have any members of the public with questions, comments on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll go to Marco.
Okay, I have a question. I know very well you play it because I walk back every single day. I know that you encroach on the area more than you don't leave 8 feet for walking, but now I think you are proposing that. The only question that I have for you is, are you willing to accept an stipulation that you will be fully in compliance with all regulations of the DOT regulations for the sidewalk and on the roadway?
I think that our belief is that the plans that we have submitted is in full architectural compliance with the new. I'm sorry.
Look, you have to review. I know very well the table that you put in that encroach space doesn't fit for one table and 2 chairs. Perfectly, you know very well. So this is, I prefer that we approve and DOT will go over there and they'll inspect and they will approve it to you. And the only thing is the stipulation saying is that you comply with the DOT. That's it.
So to clarify, Dave, what Marco is saying is that he's unclear. His belief is that the current setup is not compliant, right? But your new plans and you submitted. He's asking whether you're willing to additionally stipulate that your new setup will be consistent and compliant with the rules of the Department of Transportation.
And then I will support your application.
Yes.
Okay, I will support your application. Thank you.
Great.
You're welcome.
Abraham, sorry to interrupt. Just want to clarify, the applicant, if you look at the checklist, just want to clarify, they did not send us items in reference on the checklist. If it's okay, I list them out.
Yes, if you can flag those so then we can request them now and make those part of the request.
Yes, it's the sidewalk cafe questionnaire, the street life application information, photographs of the storefront, the sidewalk site plan form, and a notarized affidavit. Particularly, I would point out the notarized affidavit we have not received. They have flyered, but we have not received notarized affidavit, sidewalk cafe, and the other information I mentioned.
I see photos in the.
I'm sorry. I think he is incomplete, but I think somebody has to put a motion to approve, and then you can review it, at the full board. I think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Okay.
I saw that there is some picture from the corner. I saw for the other side, but not to the front. It's a little bit incomplete, that part. I prefer to say that if he's compliant with all DOT regulations, I do not have a problem.
Thank you, Marco. So Dave, if there's anything missing, John will let you know if you can send that before the full board meeting, and we can just to be square. Okay, so we have well, actually, we don't have a motion yet, do we? Okay, so Russell.
Motion to approve.
Great, with the stipulation, I assume.
Yep.
Great. Okay, do I have a second? I see one from Judy. Great. Do I have anyone wanting to call the question? Marco. Oh, Marco gave the thumbs up. Bill's going to call a question.
I call the question.
Wonderful. Okay. If anyone opposes, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to the roll. There's a motion to approve with the stipulation that they'll adhere to the DOT regulations. So if anyone's voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, let me know. Sasha?
Voting no.
You're voting no? Okay. Anyone else voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining? Okay, so that is, we have 10 still, so that is a 9-1 approval, so thank you very much. And do send those other forms for the full board.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the next, we have Nectar. So this was, John, do you want to explain the next two, the situations, just remind people for what happened?
Yes, so these two DOT applications were sent to us yesterday after 5 p.m. So as we noticed, the deadlines for recommendation are October 30th, which is after our full board and after the Street Life meeting, but prior to our next Street Life meeting. So they would be basically in the middle. So we offered the applicants to come today in order to present their application and are given options, of course, to flyer for the upcoming full board and give us the materials after the Street Life meeting.
Right. So yeah, so in consultation with the office and with Valerie, and given that we have to provide a reference by that time frame, the applicants, assuming they're here, agreed to come, and we'll flyer before the full board meeting. That way there is public notice for any members of the public that want to comment or opine or have any objection at the full board meeting. And that way we're still able to provide an answer within the 30-day deadline. Otherwise, we will be over and our opinion may or may not be accepted by the DOT. Okay, so do we have the applicant for Nectar? Yes, I see Robbie Hall.
Yes, hello.
Hi, welcome. Tell us a little about your plans and application and
Of course. So my name is Robert Hull with Michael Kelly's office. This is a roadway cafe application for Nectar Restaurant Corp. DBA Nectar. We're located at 1090 Madison Avenue at the corner of East 82nd Street. The roadway structure will be on Madison Avenue. It's 15 feet from the fire hydrant and about 30 feet from the crosswalk. The structure will be 12 feet in length and 8 feet in width. There will be 5 tables, 10 seats. The applicant has been open and operating since 1989. And if you guys have any questions, feel free. You can ask them. We can answer them.
thank you, Robbie. Do I have any members of the public on this application? Which I wouldn't expect but just in case anyone has anything. If not, I'll go to Marco first and then to Judy.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you willing to accept an stipulation that's saying that you will comply with all rules and regulations of DOT for sidewalk cafe as well as for the roadway cafe?
Yes. So when the new real,
I will support your application. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. Judy?
Yeah, you have to forgive me on this one. Your location going up Madison Avenue, are you on the left or the right side of the street?
I believe we're on the right. I can find that out for you.
Isn't that the bus lane? How do they put an outdoor Abraham that's allowed to put tables and chairs in a bus lane?
No, it would not be in order, but I'm looking at the.
That's why I wasn't sure how the numbers on Madison ran.
I'm doing a quick.
The last one we heard was not in the bus lane.
Yes, it is on the right side of Madison Avenue.
So wouldn't that be the bus lane where they want to put the tables and chairs?
We're farther back. We're past the bus lane.
I don't understand that.
So we are, they said it before, we're 30 feet from the crosswalk. We made sure to be far enough far back, and there's the certain distance need be from the street signs as well. So we made sure we were far enough where we were far away from everything.
There's no present bus lane. I'm looking at an image from August 24 on Madison.
The bus goes up at the right-hand lane. Isn't that considered a bus lane?
This is on the left side, right? This is on the left side.
No, he said it was on the right side.
He misspoke because I'm looking at the I'm looking at the image. I'm looking at the image.
Okay,
on the
then
left side.
forget I ever asked. Forget it. Sorry.
All good. All good. Okay. Thanks, Judy. Sasha?
I just had a similar comment. I know there isn't a bus lane, but I'm curious if Nectar has had complaints previously for having a shed close to where a bus would pass. If anyone ever takes a bus down Second Avenue between any remaining sidewalk sheds and construction, that leaves buses with very few lanes. So I'm just curious if there have been complaints in the past, and this is kind of bringing that up again, and having something on the avenue. I think I'm in support of what's on the side street, but I'm more concerned about the avenue, understanding there isn't a designated bus lane right now on Madison Avenue.
Understood. Sasha, just to clarify, so I think when I was just saying to Judy, I Google image it. The applicant, the representative misspoke. This is on the left side, so it would not interfere with any bus lane or future bus lane or anything bus related because it's on the left side of Madison.
And
Oh,
just be
it's
clear,
oh yes,
we are
okay, sorry, misunderstood that. Go for it.
yeah, and just to be clear, we're located on Madison Avenue, but we're going to be having the seating on East 82nd Street. So it won't be affecting anything on Madison.
Even better. I'm just looking at the drawing again.
Yeah, of course.
The drawing does, at least the one I'm looking at in the plans, looks to be on Madison. It's set back from 62nd, but it's on Madison.
I'm looking at the plans right now, and it shows all the tables and chairs on East 82nd Street.
All 5 tables. So
Oh, I apologize. I made that mistake. It is on Madison Avenue. Yes, it will be
yeah,
on.
it is on Madison, but it is on the left side, so it would not interfere with any
No,
public.
yes, it wouldn't affect with any of that.
Okay, good. As long as we're all clear. So, okay, good. I invite any motions. The applicant has already agreed that would stipulate to the DOT regs. So Judy,
Move to approve.
okay. I see Marco agreeing. Great. Okay, does anyone want to call a question? Bill.
Call the question.
Wonderful. Okay, if anyone opposes, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to the roll. This is a motion to approve with the stipulation to adhere to the DOT rules and regs. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining, let me know. Hey, Lindsay, welcome back, or welcome. Can we unmute Lindsay?
Hi, I just want to abstain from this one because I joined too late.
Okay. So do you want to abstain or do you want to just not vote?
Or just not vote. That's fine. Pretend I wasn't ever here.
Okay, great. Okay. So anyone voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining? Okay, seeing none, this is a 10-0 approval. And now we'll add Lindsay to our tally of 11 for Arturo. Do we have the representative for Arturo's?
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you. There's also a new outdoor dining application for Roadway. 3 tables, 12 chairs, 1617 York Avenue, for those that don't know Arturo's. Do we have the applicant or representative? Yes, I
Hi.
see Joseph. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you? Thank you for having us.
Good, thanks.
I'm sorry about being so late, but we did mail it out in July, and it just got there. It was just amazing to us that we found out it was, just made it in. Yeah, we have one already. We've had it for quite a while since they allowed us. We do want to have the 12 seats on the street and 12 seats on the sidewalk.
Okay, great. And I'm looking at let me just make sure I see the plans. Yep, okay. Is there anyone from the public with a question or comment on this item? If not, I will go to Marco.
Thank you. The same question. even though that you are an excellent neighbor, and I has been, well, I always buy you pizza too.
Thank you very
But I
much.
had to ask the question. I had to be fair with everybody. Are you
Yes,
willing to comply with all rules and regulations of the DOT?
absolutely.
Okay, I think I strongly support your application because I know that you are a very good business in that area. You're an icon in that place, and I wish to continue like that forever.
Thank you, Marco. We've been
You're
there
welcome.
42 years now.
Yeah, I know that.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Very glad to have you. Judy,
Same stupid question. Which side of the street is this on, and will it affect the bus?
I am on the south side of the street. I mean, on the west side of the street. I'm sorry. On the
Doesn't
west
the
side.
bus come down the west side of the York Avenue?
Yeah, the buses come on York Avenue, but it's a two-lane street.
yeah, there's no
I just take the parking spots. I'm not taking a bus lane. There's parking on York Avenue.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Judy. Marco?
Well, let me call the question. Let me put the question. I'm sorry. Let me put the motion. The motion is to approve with the stipulation. Thank you.
Great. I see a second by Judy, and can I get a call of the question? Sasha?
Call to question?
Wonderful. Thank you very much. If anyone opposes, let me know. Otherwise, going to the roll. This is a motion to approve with the stipulation of adherence to the DOT regs. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining, do let me know. Voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining. Okay, that goes as an approval. And that's 11-0. So thank you very much, and continued to another more than 40 years.
Let's
So
not get
thank you.
crazy now. Thank you very much, folks. Have a lovely evening.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're up to our last item here. This is the application for a dispensary. This under the New York State Office of Cannabis Management adult use retail dispensary license. This is for Nucleus Dispensary located on 1819 2nd Avenue. Do I have the applicant for this application? Nucleus?
I believe it's Neil. He's here, but
Neil Ashmead. Uh,
okay.
yes?
Hello. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, how you doing?
Good.
Pardon. Good evening to everyone. I might be a little choppy right now. I'm mobile. I'm not stationary, so I might be a little choppy.
Okay.
Neil Ashmead, Nucleus Dispensary, 1819 2nd Avenue between 94 and 95th. We are currently new to the area. We operating 7 days a week between the hours of 9 and 10. We will have 24-hour security monitoring with a 24-hour surveillance system as well. There'll be security at the front door, checking all ID. No one under 21 will be allowed to entry. There'll be no smoking on the premises. Location was previously a smoke shop, so the footprint will remain the same. It's basically some minor changes. If anyone has any questions, concerns, or comments, I'm free to answer anything.
Can you just repeat that? You said what was the establishment before?
It was, I believe, it was a smoke shop before.
Understood. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, the footprint will remain the same. It's nothing really going to change in there.
Okay. And then just quick question for me before I go to public and committee. Was this this is a normal adult use, or was this under the card program?
It's in the card program.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Do I have any members of the public first on this application? I see a David B. Weiss.
Hi, good evening. I live about a block away from that location. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Carry on.
I've lived in this neighborhood actually most of my life. I've lived in this particular area for over 20 years. Was previously the previous occupant of this location was similar use, and it was, I think, shut down by the sheriff. It's in approximately within 2 block radius of this. You have 5 schools, maybe 6. You're also at the terminus of the Q line. And right now we have a zombie problem, shall we say, at 96th and 1st. We have people that are either EPs or they're under the influence of something, probably stronger than marijuana. We also have a bit of a retail desert around there. And as somebody who's on the board of a co-op, with retail space, I'm sympathetic to needing to rent retail spaces out, but not this. In our neighborhood, up until recently, with a recent rash of enforcement, we had about a dispensary, legal or illegal, I don't know, I don't care, every block and a half on First Avenue and Second Avenue. And while it's great nobody will be smoking on premises, one certainly can't control what happens off premises. And I don't believe that sanctuary, this kind of dispensary, is going to do wonders for the retail spaces of this area's immediate neighbors. For example, 245 East 94th Street, which has had or 245 East 93rd Street, which has had a lot of problems. I think they have one good tenant on that street, Starbucks, but they've had other issues. Some of you may recall the grocery delivery store, grocery store. I forget what its name was. Now that place is vacant. So I'm not really a fan of this. And if anybody knows the particular location of this and what happened beforehand, I'd find it hard to believe anybody thinks this is a good idea.
Great. Thank you very much for offering your insight and public input. Do I have any other members of the public? Okay, then I will go to Robin, Sasha, and Russell.
Abraham, thank you. Didn't we discuss the importance of having applicants on camera when they're making their application?
We did, but I believe Neil mentioned that he was in motion or in transit. Neil, are you able to come on camera by any chance?
Yes, I'm in transit right now, so there's no lights in the car this moment.
Okay, thank you. And Neil, my question is, what, if anything, is your relationship with the prior tenant in this location?
No relation at all. Only reason I know the smoke shop because I have control of the property, and there's still a sign up top that says smoke shop.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Neil.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you, Robin. Sasha?
Hi, thank you, Neil. So I live on this block. I've lived on this block my entire life. I will say before it was a smoke shop that opened in 2021 or 2022, it was a locksmith. So it did add something before, but I do appreciate that this is a dispensary license. I share some concern that has been voiced about the various other non-licensed shops or candy shops that have no food deliveries that are probably running things illegally, but I'm glad to see this is a legitimate licensed dispensary. I am curious about the hours of operation. 9 a.m. seems very early for a smoke shop. 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. is like a very long time. And I'm just curious if there's a rationale or reason behind such long hours for a recreational use that, for all intents and purposes, doesn't necessarily require people needing to wake and bake, grab edibles on the go before work. I'm just curious why the quite early hour when people are commuting, and then well into the evening and night when people would be going home, especially since this is by the subway. Generally I agree that uh, there is other retail that maybe is needed in the area, but I'd rather see a licensed dispensary than any of the non-licensed places. But I really have more of a qualm with the long hours, considering, again, there is a candy shop that is 24/7 around the corner. But I'm glad to hear otherwise. This would have security outside and things like that. But just curious, for an explanation on the hours here.
Yeah, the hours are not written in stone as of right now. They're just there for us to gather data, basically, on what hours are going to be most efficient for us to open.
Okay.
I really can't determine all the exact hours right now. I'm pretty sure certain days will be down and certain days will be up. We don't plan on being open on days there's not going to be any type of foot traffic, or not days, but hours is not going to be real good foot traffic. So right now we're keeping those hours in the window of the hours we're going to be using.
Okay. I also see that Nucleus has a dispensary in like Westchester. Do you run similar hours there, or is it same kind of thing? Like you put out a certain set of hours and then based on foot traffic, you lower it, because foot traffic will come if you keep something open. Like quite frankly, for cannabis, like people will go if it's legal. They'll go at whatever time something's open. So I understand it's not set in stone, but I would obviously you'll do whatever like the market wants and what's best for your business. But I'd say, looking at more targeted hours when you're seeing that foot traffic and not just being open pretty early and pretty late, may kind of go over better with the public or people who have issues.
Yeah, the one in Westchester is actually not open. That was the first location that didn't follow through. So it was
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. Russell?
Make a motion to approve, and if it's seconded, well, I don't think I need to speak to it.
Okay. Is there a second on the motion to approve? I am not seeing a second. Judy? Well, okay, Bill's seconding. There we go. Judy? Judy?
I guess I'll call the question if no one has any comments.
Okay, great. If anyone's opposed to calling the question, let me know. Otherwise, we're going to the roll. This is a motion to approve. If anyone's voting no, not voting for cause, or abstaining, let me know. Okay, Sasha, and then Marco, and then Robin.
I'm gonna vote no right now.
Marco?
I think it's wrong. I'm gonna say no. Thank you.
Okay. Robin?
Thank you, Abraham. I'm voting no.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's 3 no's, which leaves us with 8 yeses. Okay, great. So that is a motion to approve. It'll go to the full board. So Neil, typically these applications can be discussed at the full board. So I would recommend attending that meeting as well. But for now, you have an approval from the committee. So thank you very much, and thanks for joining, and good evening.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Great. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. So unless there's any new or old business, I'm sure people would like to get to some of the activities going on this evening, but I see Marco has his hand up.
Thank you. We still have enough time for 9 o'clock. The issue is
Don't
next.
need to use it.
The issue is next. The application for the sidewalk and the roadway cafes, it should be the applicant presented and we can review the drawings, even though, regrettably, I'm going to say it, that the professionals, they mislead us in all the applications. This is what I prefer always, to ask them to be in compliance with DOT. Why I'm saying that? Because usually it's more likely DOT will have serious problems to enforce, and then it will be a mess. Everywhere they're gonna have more, others have less, and people that comply with the rules, they're gonna say, why we had to comply if the others do not comply? I think the best way to be fair with everybody is to comply with the law. I think I disagree, obviously, myself, the roadway cafe, but since this is allowable, I had to support. So the issue is two things. It has to be presented in pictures. It has to present in drawings, even though that I will start asking to comply with DOT regulations. I think this is the best way to deal with these drawings that properly are misleading. And I think this is not the first case. Before we have three cases. So I think that's I would like to bring up to the committee and see what are their opinions has.
Anyone have any thoughts, comments on Marco's? Judy?
Yeah, since Marco brings up at every instance that they should follow the DOT rules and regulations, why don't we just make that they will commit to following the DOT rules and regulations, a stipulation, so that we don't have to do it every month?
I am in support of that. So is Russell. Great.
Can we put a motion?
Does that need a motion? I mean,
we don't need a motion. I think we have enough support here that we can ask John, Kevin, and the board office to add that to the stipulations, the list that we have for all of the material. So yeah, I'm happy to, John, I'm happy to reconnect with you on what that is. But basically, we're going to have a new stipulation specific to the roadway and sidewalk cafes that all applicants will comply with the DOT regulations.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
also, I have one other thing.
Sure, Judy, go
Because
ahead.
I'm not familiar with all the streets. When they do the roadway things, can we be told whether that's a bus lane or not? Can that be put into what we get?
What are you kidding me?
We can make that request, yes.
Yeah, I mean, the write-ups, when you post the
Thank you. How are you guys doing?
when you post it.
Excuse me?
Yes, okay,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
great, thanks, Judy. Sasha?
Yeah, just to add on to Judy's point, I would expand it even further, not just the bus lane, because applicants may say, well, it's not a designated bus lane or there isn't a bus stop, but if it's the side of the street that a bus would lean towards. I don't think I don't remember if Madison has like the clear delineated bus lane, but if it's on the eastern side of the street, that is more likely where a bus is going to skew and lean towards when driving. So just like which side of the street it's on, and not just like bus lane alone, because they might just say, well, there's no designated bus lane and there's no stop near us, so it's not an issue.
Okay, I mean, if that's what we want for informational purposes, we can ask.
Okay, thanks.
Marco and then Lindsay.
I think when we say that he has to comply with all DOT regulations, cover everything. Cover it, because DOT knows very well what's going to happen in the present and in the future. They know very well. So if we're going to put more stipulations, that's fine. The only thing is redundancy, but sometimes redundancy is resilience. I think that probably is good. Thank you.
Thanks, Marco. Lindsay?
I was just gonna say, it seems like we can just ask them at the front, you know, we say, like, give us your hours of operation, whatever, and then please tell us this thing on the bus lanes. That seems sufficient to me.
Yeah, I mean that, or add just a slot in the paperwork they fill out. So either way, I'm not married to the process. Yes, Marco.
Can I call for tonight? Can
Need a
we
motion to
adjourn?
adjourn?
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I
mean,
think
I can put a motion as long as everybody's in agreement.
yes, you're getting several thumbs up, so I think people are in agreement. So
Thank you.
great. Well, thank you everyone for a constructive evening. Have a good night and enjoy whatever you watch tonight. Bye-bye.